Yeah.
I think I first spoke to you, I said, what did I say? I think I spoke to you in Italian. I thought I was talking to you in French. He said, no, that's Italian. I went,
Oh, that's right, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, wrong language. Close, but not helpful in France.
c'est un pas à l'école.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, if I get really stuck, Cantonese words pop into my head. Because it's sort of. I don't know Cantonese very much, but it is the only sort of other language that I have. So when your brain's going, give me a word that's not English. What's the word that's not English? You know, that's what comes out. I'm like, oh no, that's not right. Then you go.
Thanks, brain.
Yeah, thanks, but no. Close, but no.
French would be a bit country. You don't speak French.
Only in Paris. They really aren't. Here they're like, they just wait for you to give it a go. Down the south. So I think that I don't know why or where in Paris it is that they do that. Maybe it's just the shops because they're just so used to living tourists. They just had enough of them. I mean, it's like, well, don't be in the tourist business. Might say, but whereas down here, firstly, the first thing they'll tell you is if you ask them, do you speak any English? They say no, or a little bit. They far prefer to not watch you struggle. They far prefer you being the one to struggle with the language rather than them being the one. And I totally get that. You know, because if they're not feeling confident with their English, you know, they'll see how far you can go and see if they can get it. But they're really very nice, and that's what we've always found. Although, of course, if you're not English, so that helps. So if anybody asks me if I'm English, I say no. So England English, you know.
I think it's just an advantage everywhere not being English or American, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and everybody loves a Kiwi. I mean, somehow we've got this very nice reputation around the world. They always say, "Oh, you guys are always so nice and friendly." I'm like, "Am I?" I don't know. Aussies too, I would say, would have that kind of warmer kind of feeling towards, you know, with people. Okay, so this is all it is. Is it kind of like fiddling? You just because this is the end, but you just balance it and fiddle and do all that sort of stuff. Let's see. I do want to do a little bit over here though.
Do you kind of finesse the edges as you go, or do you tend to go around at the end and do that again? Or?
I do tend to do it as I go. Like if I go around it at the very end and get a little magnifying glass, which I've been known to do, and sort of look around things. In general, there's not much to do. I do it as I go a little bit. So what you won't see it, but there's really fine lines just coming through there that I'm quite happy with. And I may just stop fiddling and and the top's really soft, like I might just for the sake of putting a little bit of something in for the eye, just do that. Just a little soft line on the top and blur it out, just so it's a suggestion. Same down there. Not sharp at all or anything really.
Did you hear from your mum? Are they celebrating in America?
Um, well, I don't know whether Mum's altogether worried too much about it. My sister had had enough. She's in Texas. It's a red state. And she'd had she gets on really well with her immediate boss. And they have another guy in their office. There's only about 2 guys in there. It's unusual. There's 2 guys in their office that are for Trump, and the rest is basically a Democrat office, which is crazy because in Texas, of course, it's quite red. So, her immediate boss is all sort of trying to convert her like some sort of, Christian knocking on the door kind of thing and so on. So she's happy that she doesn't have to listen to that every so often. But I mean, she really gets on with them. Like, they get on really well and things. But she's like happy that's going to be over. And my sister doesn't listen to the news and stuff much at all. I literally know more than what's going on than she does. I think it's because there's just so much, and with COVID and stuff, it can be a worry. In the very beginning, she too, just like everybody else, is saying, am I going to have a job? So she just sort of like zoned out of all that, stopped watching so much media where you just are worrying about it every day, and just sort of got on and did stuff, and what will be in a way, because it can get quite, overwhelming. Yeah, so she just sort of was like, well, she would just get on and do her stuff, and not sort of watch the blow by blow of, I mean, God, and it's quite boring every night. Like we listen to the news, and we watch the American evening news. Even here, we've done it all over the place. I don't know why we watch American news, and then we watch BBC, we watch German and French. That's what we do, and just since COVID, that's all it's ever been, and it's like I hate the news in America. It's so sensational, and it's like just you guys and maybe in Singapore as well. We just have it so much better where our news is not a political party. So because there are some news stations that are a little bit more neutral, but I'm just thinking, do you have to sound like a tabloid? Breaking news, just in, and all this kind of stuff. It's like, God, TVNZ, it's just, they just say it like it is, and that's it. And we don't, but it just feels like it's a tabloid piece every single time. Like their wording and all that stuff is very sensational, and I think, why don't you let me decide if that was an amazing piece or, something very dramatic, rather than you telling me, using these sort of words that are very sort of inflammatory or whatever. So, and that's just American news for you. I think it's because they want to obviously capture people's attention and stuff. They feel they have to be, this just in, or it's like, oh my God, it's always just in. You guys are never organised if that's the case. It's like, no, just tell us. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, well. I know. After he's gone, I mean, we've had 4 years of, something every single day. I mean, the news media won't know what to do with themselves. They'll be looking around going, well, can we, make a story about the dog, with the office dog, because there won't be anything much else to say. Because there was always something with him every day, wasn't there? Even without, like, the COVID thing, there was always something.
We ain't getting married.
No, well, it's probably just as well.
Oh, we did during the election.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, I said, what's that interesting?
Oh, they probably are, though. You want to know what's going on.
But not every minute.
Oh, yeah. Not a blow things. Mm.
It's just like, oh,
So this is where I do a lot of squinting. I lean back and I squint and I look because it really is, now we're just doing, you sort of just see what you see. Like, there were some sort of slightly darker area here, and I could do a little bit of blue actually, maybe. That would be interesting. I might do that. And then you try and capture that, and it's always a little bit different to what the photo is in the end, or the flower, or whatever. So then you've got to start to just look at your painting as is, rather than the reference, and say, well, is that a crinkle, a crease that I can expand on, or all those things. So I might just do some blue.
did you ditch that iris?
Yeah, I did. This is on paper that I've never painted on before. I just found it in the drawer. So I thought, oh, I'll paint on that, and it just wouldn't come out very crisp and nice. I mean, I can see the difference between, say, that area there, how in this is like the crispness of them is completely different. And it was really, I was like, wow. After about 3 sessions, I was like, no, can't do it. It just won't do that. It'd be quite a nice paper. Yeah, it'd be a nice paper for that kind of looser painting. I think this would be a nice fibrey looking paper for that. But that's not what I do. So I've just got a little bit of blue. And I might just see about just adding a little bit there. Just in some of the sort of parts that on my petal look a little bit more like a shadow. Sort of runs. Oh, that's better. Sometimes I know it's a bit not necessarily counterintuitive in a way, but sometimes if you're looking at it and I was doing it with the magenta and stuff, and you sort of feel like you need something else, it really is, or you think, oh, I need to keep going, just change colour. I mean, and we're not talking like I put blue there where it looks blue. It's just light enough that it just sort of adds a difference to the tone. And that's what sort of I think can help bring it together a bit. So it's just that blue as well, just going down there. And just a couple of stronger lines. to definitely tidy up some of the edges at the top here. Well, that's kind of, I mean, mostly it. I would probably sort of wait for that to dry, and then come back with a sort of a fresh eye, and you know, because especially when you're just sort of focusing on that one area, like so that you can come back and say, okay, it's not quite finished. I'll probably put in a little bit more pink in through here, but oh, and also what you can do, for instance, is with your little flat brush, you can come in and say, well, maybe I'll just, you know, take out a little bit of colour out of that part there, and you can blend a few things, or maybe if you want to sort of regain a tiny bit of a lighter area, or drag through to the light. Like, I mean, if I just want a tiny bit of colour somewhere, there for instance, I might just go back and forth, where you're literally just picking up a little bit of colour from each side. You know, do things like that. Maybe even out some of the areas a little bit. But I will definitely go through it with a bit more magenta, I think. Because it's looking quite, well, actually it's looking quite purpley, which, now let me see. I looked at that. Yeah, that's not too bad. There's a bit more of the magentas in here, so I'm just using that. But what's happened is, like, you know, the top of the petal gets all the light, so that is quite a sort of a cooler purple part of the flower, whereas this part sort of started to curve in a little bit, and in the photo it does look slightly warmer, so that slightly pinkier tone there. But I still may bring it a bit more. Maybe just in a few parts. But yeah, I would just probably stop for now for me, and let that sort of sink in a little bit, and then see, you know, come back with a fresh eye and see. I am just strengthening up this little bit right here, because it's kind of a nice glow just on the edge of that curve. And I definitely come through and tidy up some of these edges, strengthen them up a little. There's some, I'll do that, but so that's it. Well, ladies, so that's all there is to it.